Let us look at the sixth recording. Scrolling in the table, clicking on 6.1. Now, so far our recordings were very nice, but most would say the signals as we see in the top window are more representative of the recordings that we make in a routine EMG laboratory. So this is where we had many different motor units discharging, so our baseline is not very clean. And this is where I think we should take advantage of using these windows. I have an action potential pair with nice amplitude over here, but you will also notice that there is another action potential pair with low amplitude. So let me start with the higher potential first. The simplest way to get rid of bad interfering potentials is to simply raise the trigger level. So I'm going to bring it up over here. This level, I'm going to bring it over here. Let's see what effect that had. Well, we have cleaned up the signals quite well. We had so much background interference and other things. The jitter was normal, and therefore the traces that are in blue color that probably crossed only one window but not the second are thrown out automatically. We have some interference over here. Perhaps this is a high amplitude potential, so I'm going to draw the magic rectangle and get rid of it. And I think that's the only editing I'm going to do for this trace. If you do excessive editing, you can always convert an abnormal jitter recording into a normal one. So I don't like to do editing as far as possible. And in this case, I have a jitter of 33 microseconds. When we look at the interpotential interval distribution, these are the data points that were excluded manually. So the data points that are on top over here, they were excluded automatically. The blue data points represent the traces that I removed by making the magic rectangle. I have another small potential in the background. So let me see how I can analyze this. I will click on new pair. Let me adjust the trigger level over here. And then there is another potential over here. My windows are in place. Let's look at the data. And this is where we have a lot of interference. So I'm going to use the magic rectangle to get rid of these traces and perhaps something high over here. Maybe there is something interfering over here. So I will draw a magic rectangle, get rid of it. I hope you can see how easy it is to get rid of bad traces from our recordings. You no longer have to go for a trace by trace review. Now, if we are familiar with the trace by trace review, that functionality is still available. Simply click into the review window. And now we can see 5 traces at a time as it was done in the past. Once again, the blue traces are the ones that were excluded. I can scroll through this. This is the potential in white trace that was accepted. So we haven't taken away any of the old interface. We have only added something new. We can see these potentials very easily. And if I wanted to get rid of this trace, for example, I can just click on it and it changed the color to blue. If I want to re-accept it, I can click on it again. So the old features are still there. Feel free to use it. But I think once you start using the magic rectangle, you will probably not go into this screen again. I'm going to get out of the review mode. So I have obtained 2 different recordings over here. Once again, over here, the number of discharges is not adequate. Ideally, I like to have at least 50 sweeps, but for the purpose of demonstration, we will accept this result.